Big turns. How are you doing tonight? Oh, excuse me, today.
Yeah, good. Thanks. Yourself?
Yeah. We're still ticking here, so that's
Lovely.
positive.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, so we should have an exciting one. The boys have been away on their grand tour, the L1X
Yeah.
grand tour. So yeah, we as people trickle in here, I think we're gonna have a pretty fun, pretty great conversation.
So let me ask you, with when the cat's away, do the mice play? Are you in Mike's office, spinning around on his chair, having the office Olympics or
Do you know
anything?
what? I haven't been, but you're giving me ideas now.
Uh, or yeah, just stick a piece of gum under his desk, see if he
I'm
notices it when he
sure that'd
comes
be
back.
appreciated. I wouldn't mess with the sergeant's, office. I know better than that.
You have a pretty I don't think you've ever posted a video or a photo
I
of it, but
should.
you have yeah, it's really nice. Like you have quite a professional setup, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I do have a photo like of it, like a month back, and it
Yeah.
and it looks pretty good. But I'm getting there. Like at the moment, like you might be able to hear it in the mic, but I need acoustic treatment done to the room,
Hmm.
so the reverberation and stuff's treated. And I've just got a new. Have you ever seen those Samsung frame TVs?
Yes.
Yeah, wicked. So I've got like the latest one, and putting I'm mounting it on the wall, and I'm gonna have like a live Bitcoin and a bunch of different charts on it 24/7. So when you come in, it's just this live poster like chart on the wall.
Yeah. Awesome.
So yeah, you could tell I'm having too much fun with it. So
No, I think that's really important. And so everybody, welcome. This is Live X Season 1, Episode 7. As everybody piles in here, we're just casual conversation.
that's
We're
it.
always going to mix up the formats a little bit just to, see what people like, what we think is kind of working, what we get feedback, what people would like to see or hear or say. But one thing that you were saying there, Big Turns, that I think is really important in this space is that, you said you that Samsung frame monitor, and it is really important to keep like those visuals in front of you, like those sticky notes or that those charts, right, of what you're tracking. And I know he uses bubble charts, and because there is TMI, there's always too much information in crypto to keep up with, so we
Yeah,
always have to keep those visuals in front of you, and it is really important because it's easy to lose track of all the things that are happening and in crypto. And speaking of happening in crypto, I see Spark and Chief are here, and these are our resident rock stars that are on the world tour, and so I know they were got the two big portion size down there at Consensus in Austin, Texas. So hey, welcome guys. Good to see you here. Hopefully you had a good adventure, good conversations down there in Austin. How did all go? Either one, Chief or Spark.
I think they might be together.
Take
I'm
it
not
off.
sure.
Take it
I
off
think they're
mute.
battling.
Um, Actually, it went really, really well. We've spoken to a good number of companies and individuals, ranging from investors through to projects. I'll let Spark actually talk through some of those because he was talking a little bit about the gaming side of it. We've just spent the last 2 days sitting in conference with some of the world's biggest investment companies and banks and all those sort of things. Had some very interesting talks with some individuals around usage of the L1X protocol for anything from, as a strange topic, one that came up today was actually people smugglers and how they trace the smuggling of money, etc. And they're very interested in seeing how that can the chain can be used for that for tracing asset transfers from smugglers. Gives a little bit of an idea of the diversity. We're heading off this weekend actually tomorrow, sorry, to LA. We're going to be talking a little bit about some possibilities in the music industry.
Ah, nice. So Spark and Chief go to Hollywood, or you do the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have time to go and do that, but I've been there, so yeah,
Okay. All right. Just on a
it's all business.
personal question here for you, Chief. When you ordered some meals down there in Texas, did anything compete with your favorite dish down there in Australia?
No chance. No.
No chance. Okay.
No. I know you're referring to barbecue, because we did
Yeah.
go to a barbecue place which had a queue that was about 100 meters long, and I kid you not, I took photos of it.
Yeah.
I think it was down to portion size, where you buy it in your meal in pound increments,
Yeah.
and if you look at a pound worth of beef, or any other type of meat, when they serve it up, and instead of putting it on a plate, they actually put the meat on the tray. um, you've got some serious food in front of you. I don't even think I went through a quarter of it.
Nice. Good to hear. Good to hear, Chief. Speaking food for thought, Spark. How did the trip go for you?
Yeah, I would say the hold on, let me just turn down the other mic.
Yeah. How does that work? Are you guys sitting in different rooms when you're on these calls, or how does that functionally work?
Yeah, sometimes we're in the same room. We're in the same room at the moment.
Okay.
But I would say not the eye opener, but more the confirmation for me was the power of the interoperability that we have. Like
Hear the echo,
when
guys? You,
we got the echo going.
yeah. When one's speaking, one's got to mute. Chief he's muted now. Go ahead, Spark.
Yeah, you can talk.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep. All
Yeah,
good.
loud and clear, buddy.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I would say the thing has stood out for me and confirmed for me is the power of the interoperability. Like when you're able to take the risk away from people accessing any application on any chain, when you take that risk away, the use cases that provides to people is extraordinary across multiple different industries as well. And the fact that we actually not only transfer assets, so tokens and NFTs, but the fact we transfer logic across chain, meaning that smart contracts can now talk to each other on multiple chains, the use cases that come from that as well is pretty extraordinary. But also what's probably been an eye opener around the interoperability for me is that because with a bridge, right? If you make a transaction on a bridge and from say Ethereum to Solana or Ethereum to another EVM chain, what you do is it confirms it that you've made the request to send it on the source chain, and then it turns up on the destination chain as a result. But there's no confirmation that what happened on the source chain is what actually occurred on the destination chain. There's no validation of that. And we provide a validation between those two events, meaning that what we're creating really is a single source of truth throughout all chains, that you
Democratically,
always have that
though.
continuous.
Democratically,
Yeah,
I believe.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, a single source of truth but a decentralized single
Mm.
source of truth. It's a decentralized single source of truth because our consensus mechanism is decentralized. It has the potential to have millions of validators on it. So that's
Speaking of,
that's
I have a
been
centralized source of truth here in my house. I call it that's called my wife. And so
yeah, yep. That's my
Sorry to hear
wife
that,
too.
mate.
oh, go ahead,
Sorry.
guys.
What
I'm just
happened?
spinning yarn here a little bit. So
Okay.
go ahead, Spark.
Yeah, no, that was the kind of light bulb moment for me that it provides something cross chains, and that now that when chains data is immutable on the blocks and cannot be changed, and now the movement is also now tracked. That cannot be changed because it's all done through consensus mechanism and decentralized networks. So I think it just adds another layer of security to blockchain.
Yeah, and it's that proof of participation, right? It's actually being able to participate in the process where I think by and large a lot of people feel left out of processes, and so down to the smallest thing, right? Like a smart device, your TV, your fridge, your phone, whatever. Now, granted, you're not going to be waiting for the day that your fridge is a validator, but I mean, that's a pretty big achievement when we look at that in the sense that, like, a smart device, with a democratic consensus, is able to participate in a process of validation to say, hey, look, these cross chain, these XTalk transactions, they're confirmed by these devices by a process that everybody knows how it happens. I think that's incredibly powerful and incredibly important to have people involved to know that, really down to the smallest detail. And I know it might sound absurd, but really, your fridge, that little device, being part of that process and seeing like, okay, it's not owned by, 32 validators and, it claims to be decentralized. This is a truly democratic, decentralized process. Consensus.
It was also interesting to hear in the last couple of days from a lot of these investment banks and venture capitalist firms the issues that they experience around that interoperability. And we spoke to one bank today, and they indicated they're actually building their own bridge, and that says it all.
Yeah, that does bring up a good point, Chief. Is that we there's so much specialization in the world that anybody has to really focus on their niche, what they're good at, and once you leave that niche to work on other things, that's where exploits can happen. And if a platform actually takes care of that for developers, as Layer 1X does, clearly they can focus on the development of their project, their protocol, their platform, instead of worrying about the security of like, oh, we're going to put our users' assets at risk by having to build a bridge, maybe something we're not comfortable with. And so, yeah, incredibly powerful to be able to focus on your niche.
Yeah, it was also interesting that he actually told us that if we needed any development resources, that he's got a team of 200 that can help us out. I really didn't have the heart to tell him that his guys are not up to scratch, because if they can't, if all they can do is build a bridge and they can't actually fix the problem, well, it's not really somebody we want to or developers we really want on board.
Speaking of an army of 200, I see Merkle Roots in the house. How are you doing today, buddy?
Yeah, good. has been a pretty long night for me. I probably slept at 5 a.m. was working on the code, but yeah, good things happening on the development side. There are 2 more world's first that we have completed over the last week, and I can't wait to demonstrate that to the developers in May. And one of the other feature that we are going to demonstrate is something called as L1X store contract, or L1X store contract marketplace, where developers will be able to propose token standards like an app store concept.
I think
Merkle Root, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I don't know, my voice is echoing up.
It was on Chief's end, so I just
Chief needs to mute.
Yep.
I was like, am I hearing myself, or what's going on?
Yes, you're delirious. You need to sleep, brother. Go ahead. Chief's got himself muted.
Yeah, yeah. So we did achieve the interoperability, or XTalk that we call it now, with NFT last week. And the other world's first that we have achieved does not only impact blockchain, but impacts the field of technology, as a whole. And I think to get the best of the Web3 developers, that will be our, the best tool that we can have in our toolbox. Probably, to get up there is by creating something like an app store concept on the layer one protocol. And the App Store concept on the layer one protocol is if a team of developers, keep building certain things or keep modifying the existing contract standard, they should be able to upload that on the store, and other businesses could start using those contracts. Because what happens is usually as a developer, when you pick up even something like an NFT, contract standard or a token standard, you modify it quite a bit, and that becomes your main go-to for certain things. So giving them the opportunity to commercialize that, I feel, will go a long way in bringing the developers on board, and being the first as well in creating the marketplace for contracts. But I won't drop the second alpha, which is what is the world's first in that is going to not only impact blockchain but technology as a whole. Let's wait until the 27th of May to demonstrate that. You know, I'm sorry, Chief knows that very well, and he can't wait to demonstrate that to the devs as well.
I think we're all
Absolutely right. I'm itching.
Yeah, but yeah, the team has been working pretty hard. I would never choose a better team. I mean, other set of members. Probably, I've got some amazing people I work with, and they motivate me on a daily basis, to do better. So I think I'm in the right place and at the right time. I'm pretty happy with that.
good to hear, Merkel. Coconut, I see you're in the house. What's new on your end?
We just plugging along and trying to keep up with Kevin with all these new world firsts that he's doing. Trying to kind of what's the word I'm like, translate those into user experiences that we can use throughout the whole ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, I'm kind of excited. We're on the final tail ends of the designs of the light wallet. The light wallet is going to go into production here very soon, and so we should be seeing that come out hopefully this month in a couple of weeks. So once we get that out, I'm pretty sure there will be lots of videos, how-to videos, and lots of people itching to get that downloaded and start playing with it.
I agree. I was just thinking, kind of an amalgamation of what you two were both talking about was, the developers and having kind of a scorecard, or like if anybody collected those sports cards as a kid, so that we could kind of see stats on them, and it was dynamic and it could rate it, and it was an NFT, and you could almost literally contact them through that NFT and hire some services through that NFT, and you could see like kind of a rating system evolve over time. For the projects that they perform for people, and so that might be something neat or interesting to work on, or not. Kind of quiet over there.
For sure. No, I was just thinking of all of these world firsts that we've done, and when I was with Chief and Spark at Consensus, it was interesting because as we were talking about this interoperability and how we made
X-Talk.
Oh yeah, sorry, X-Talk, and
you guys got to put some L1X in the jar because it's been said 3 times tonight. So
exactly, I owe a couple of bucks there, but it was interesting because as we were talking about X-Talk with a lot of people, they were kind of okay, yeah, we've heard this before type of thing, and it was interesting because I was walking around with the video of us doing the first EVM to non-EVM transfer on my phone So as soon as I unlocked my phone, I was literally showing it to the person that I was talking to. I don't know about Chief or Spark, but my favorite thing was to kind of just watch their jaw literally hit the floor, as they could see how quick it was, how cheap it was, and how it was just executed. And then after that, I had their ear, and it was an amazing thing to connect with not only other layer ones, but just other little projects, and to see how we could just synergize with it. But um, when Merkle Root throws out that there's some world firsts happening here, everybody should be taking
Big
note and
deal. Yeah.
be on pins and needles, waiting for that to come out.
I was thinking, and this is a little bit late, but maybe this is one for consensus for next year. Instead of carrying your phone around to show that video, we'll just strap a big TV to you, and then Spark can carry one of those arrows and then point at you, and then that's sure to get everybody's attention, and then you just, wow them with those world firsts.
I like it.
Jeez, none of these jokes are falling, or they're
No, I
falling
think I
flat.
think I think
Yeah.
I'm as long as the TV is a validator on the L1X node,
Ah,
I'm happy.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm all
Yep.
for that, buddy. Let's see, who else do we have in the house here? That Jay, what do you, or excuse me, Big Turns. What have you been up to? Uh-oh, that
Ahoy,
answer's
ahoy, sorry. As
yeah.
of like 10 seconds ago, it was like blocking my nose because I've got a runny nose, so that's why I'm muted. Got to pull the tissues out the nose, all the lovely stuff. So yeah, I mean, in the last week particularly, we've seen the marketing team really sort of get together and figure out, a lot of the structure moving forward. And so we've seen some wonderful things in development already. And then as far as community, you should be able to notice some big changes within the Discord quite soon. So we've sort of just been taking in the data for now and working out where we're going to impact the Discord and the community. A big thing for me, and some of you may have heard me discuss this before, is how do we incentivize the growth of the community? How do we incentivize engagement? So there's a variety, like there's a whole wealth of knowledge that I can tap into, a bunch of different applications, games, those sorts of things that we can set up within the Discord. So then we have something always for the community to engage with. And we can make them pretty exciting. Like we could have, poker nights, once a week, and the winner takes away, in a tournament, takes away a little bag of L1X to add to their holdings. So there's a bunch of different things that we're looking to employ. So I'm really excited. This is the fun part about my job, is when we get to start testing and iterating these different activities within the Discord, and get the community's feedback, and then build from there.
Yeah, I add to that as well, is that the community at the moment, as part of L1X, are going through these world firsts. They're part of a journey that's, Kevin's been able to build out these features and these capabilities, and will continue to build out. That's, yeah, really right at the start of some pretty amazing technology that's coming to the world. And that's a pretty cool thing to be part of the community. And can I just I just need to point out the overshare from Big Turns about the runny nose. I thought that was too much.
Look, we're just one big family here, so I've taken the liberty.
Chief, you weren't on early, but Big Turn says he has taken up residence in your office while you're away. He's just keeping everything clean and make sure everything's working. So no worries.
Sounds like he's keeping it well sanitized too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I've just got the snotty tissues all across the desk. No. If you were here in the beginning, Chief, you'd hear him try to entice me to do it, and I said I would never dare.
Well, Spark, you do bring up a really interesting thing, though, is this idea of these firsts that are taking place. And a lot of the time, actually almost every time, it's really hard to see when you are in history. And, I do salute everybody that's in crypto, because even though you might be new, this might be, your first project, your second project, you're still part of a really select club. And then to be here, it's even more select. And when nobody knows that, projects are going to be big, until they're big. And then you have people saying, man, I wish I would have got into that. I heard about it, but I didn't do it. And when for the people that weren't on the call at the very beginning, we talked about these reminders to tell yourself to, you know, when you want to learn more about something, because there's so much brought up, like on a call or in the channel, like, oh, what is this? What's the difference between X and Z, or X talk and maybe ICP, something they do, or there's so many acronyms thrown around. But this is really the opportunity to like take the time to educate yourself and say, oh, okay, that's the difference. So the next time a question like that is asked, you're the one answering it. You want to beat the mods. And one of the fun parts about being in a community is like this people that are racing really to understand what's happening, if it's history, this technology, what's forming around them. And it's the people that go out there and search and look for these things and find those answers. And I know Kevin has talked about that in the past. And I think it's incredibly important to, having a rewarding crypto journey. And it's not just enough really to sit back and say, okay, well, maybe I'll listen, maybe I won't. It's the people that really get involved and engage that, you become part of this history. And we've seen it throughout, so many hundreds of crypto projects, from layer ones to meme tokens, where this culture develops. But it's these people that have a hunger, a loyalty to understand more. And then once you understand more, you have these light bulb moments where Cryptonaut and Spark were talking, and Chief were talking about this idea of these eye-opening moments for people when they start talking about it. Everybody has heard, and I'm going to just use the term. We have X talk, but everybody in the industry, we've heard interoperability a number of times. But people are like, I've heard that 100 times. But when you start diving into the technology, showing them like, hey, this has happened, it's here, it's real, then all of a sudden those eyes do open. And that's the part that you don't really notice that it's happening until it's past. But fortunately for everybody that's here, you're listening, you're part of something really magical that's happening in crypto. And so I salute everybody here. But that being said, I do know we want to move to some questions, because we want to be cognizant of never going over an hour, to just try to get all the stuff jam packed into the hour. So does anybody else have anything to say before we move to questions, guys? Don't let me keep
No, I
talking.
think no, I think one of the things that is really exciting is how we have grown over the last 3 months to 4 months with starting off with no marketing or internet presence in any way, and grasping these concepts, even for a developer, it's pretty complex, and the team is doing good. They are putting in the right effort, and I guess it's just a matter of time until you see that this thing moving
But
beyond the
now
cusp in marketing. It
it's
will
that
happen.
network
I
effect,
mean,
right, Kevin? Network
yes,
effect.
yes,
That's
it
law.
will happen, because anything new takes time to consume, because we don't go out there and say we are faster, we're cheaper, we're this, we're that. We're redefining a lot of things, and that's going to take a little time, but once it gets through it, there's no competition to it. So I think the team understands that, and that shift in the marketing and the internet presence will happen.
Yeah. I just said, yeah, it's a big meal. It takes time to consume and digest, but you start one bite at a time. So speaking of one bite at a time, that is not a sitcom, but let's go to our handy questions here. This is from Rhines, aka Justin, one of our always commenters here. So regarding a wallet. As you know, there are so many garbage projects which airdropping their garbage dust tokens without our permission getting into our wallet, especially on BSC, and I think ZK Sync is like this now too. Is it possible to create a wallet which can refuse to accept the garbage tokens? A kind of very private wallet that can only accept remittance with our permission. Maybe this is targeted here for maybe Merkle Root and Cryptonaut.
To answer that question, it is in the works.
Man, that guy's succinct. Okay. Kevin, do you have any, oh, pardon me, Merkle Root, do you have any comment on that?
No, I think, yeah, Cryptonaut is right.
Nailed it. Okay. Next question is from Dharmavir. One thing that still
Actually,
confuses.
Big Great.
Yeah.
Before you actually go ahead, I'm just heard you use a word that I didn't think was in your vocabulary. That succinct. Can you elaborate a bit?
No. It's in my vocabulary, but I just dusted it off. So I'm putting it back and going on. So maybe Merkle Root, can you exchange the cross transfer of like value of like how that process actually takes place? This is from Dharmavir, and I'm just trying to, so maybe if you could just kind of visualize it for somebody in words, how that takes place and how it's different with L1X.
Yeah. So I think in my previous responses, I mentioned how a bridge exchanges value. So what happens in this case is if you use a bridge does not have, the ability to change the information that you want to send from one chain to the other. So it's pretty hard coded. So if, I say A, the other chain has to understand the meaning of A. So this puts a lot of work on the smart contracts. And I think of exchange of, information from chain to chain as smart contracts talking to each other, right? They don't understand, the logic. They don't understand what information you've got and what you want to do. So what happens over here is that L1X, through its Xtalk feature, allows the user to, go and interact with, for example, Binance and, the Ethereum chain, where if you've got an NFT on L1X, you don't have to mint it again on Binance. And while you are using that NFT on the Binance chain, to play a game, you would be able to sell that on OpenSea Ethereum Marketplace. But if you sell it on OpenSea Ethereum Marketplace, it should be taken down automatically on Binance. So this flow of information, that is, the ability to identify the NFT, the ability to sell the NFT and burn it as the situation demands, that is done through the L1X Xtalk VM. So the difference over here is any information being sent to the chain and received from the chain is, compiled, and it's targeted for the destination chain to understand. So if you send something from Ethereum and Solana does not understand that because there is no bridge that could build that, you need a VM to do that. Xtalk has the feature to detect what information the destination chain requires. And even if you change the information you want to send to the other chain, you can change that, and still you can verify if the other chain is going to understand this before sending it across. So there is a strong logic, a strong set of customization that the L1X Xtalk allows you to do.
That's amazing.
I'd just add is that it also unifies NFTs. So if you can imagine what the interoperability also achieves, it allows, let's say, anyone's NFT to come into L1X and then interact there. So, you could almost be looking at a game, which is more of a stadium where anyone can bring their NFTs into and start to interact in some sort of gamified way. And so it really does change the way people will do things like gaming, for example.
Yeah, I think the what's that expression? The sky is the limit, and the amazing thing is when you build, kind of an open-ended tools like what people can do with it. I think we're going to see some amazing creations come from that. And speaking of amazing creations, I know Tempo's really been hard at work creating some stuff. How are you doing today,
How are you?
Tempo?
Uh, to- about should in the coin to see and
Is it just me or? Um,
Your audio's dropping out. You should
I'm
jump
sorry.
out and jump back. You're okay. Just jump out and jump back in. I'll
I
watch
think
for the little
I think
otter.
I think Tempo's using a bridge.
Yeah, that's a bridge too far. In the meantime,
That's the difference.
I'll just go to the next question here, and then when Tempo gets back on, if you could just invite her back up, somebody. Next question here is from Bronx. In regards to UDI, it will be interesting to see what technologies can be put in place. When I think about some users using Passport UDI with possible compromised computers or phones, when I think about all these wallet hacks that have happened from NFT mining, etc., will we likely still have to be sophisticated or above average users to understand the threats and counter them with hardware and revoking? And so maybe Merkle, you want to handle that, or
Yeah.
Crypto? Okay.
Yeah, I think I'll leave the UI UX side to Cryptonaut, but think of a situation where as a kid I had to get permission from my father and mother if I wanted to do something, right? And 99% of the time, both of them didn't agree to anything. So
You got to ask them separately.
I didn't ask at all after that. But anyways, I just bypassed that. But anyways, when you're using the UDI feature, right? Think of the UDI as the umbrella, and you've got multiple addresses within that. Now, if you have a certain asset that is your health asset locked in a certain address, you only need to give the permission for that particular asset to that doctor, for example. And the beauty is in how Cryptonaut, I'll let him speak on that, is taking that and making it so simple to understand.
So yeah, so when it comes to protecting people through the wallet, imagine us building a giant moat around your wallet. There's a phrase that you'll hear me use quite a bit, and it's called under the hood. Um, and so these things that Merkle Root is talking about, and now and in the future, some of those things will be under the hood because it's to provide the best user experience, to make it as simple as possible. We don't want to have to make you jump through numerous hoops to protect yourself. If we have a quote unquote smart wallet, we should theoretically have the technology, the code built into it to kind of identify these things and have certain layers set in place to protect you as well in case some of those things do happen to get compromised by any means. But there will always be those safety nets in there. But our end all goal is that we just definitely want to make it as simple and as smooth and as intuitive as possible.
Well said. I think the simple things in life, lead to less exploits. When we overly complicate things, that's when life gets messy, when exploits happen or issues happen. And I don't know, maybe from a coding perspective, Merkle, you could speak to that, because I think that probably holds true in coding, but I'm not too certain about that. Is simpler actually better or more effective?
You mean coding in terms of what?
Just you know, instead of writing too many lines of code to perform a certain
Yeah.
function, if you can keep
Oh,
it as
right.
simple
Yeah.
as possible, right? Okay.
Yeah. So I think one of the things that we do first of all when the dev comes in is I go through the standard guidelines on coding, and the simple equation is a single function should only have one objective, right? And if the objective is, so big that you're writing 100 lines of code, that's not an objective, that's a story. So how do you break down the story into multiple objectives and allow each function to handle that? Because certain functions have to be called public, certain functions should only be called by your virtual machine, and it should be private. And these kind of strategies allow you to detect, but very importantly, if you can't write it on a piece of paper first and define your objective, don't even start coding. That's the idea.
See that or hear that, everybody? Visualization. You got to visualize it before you create it. I know you
I
got
was visualizing a lot of things last night.
to. Now, was one of them like so? You know, Merkelrud is a bit of a joker, I think, because you just heard where he said when his parents told him no, he just stopped asking for permission and probably started asking for forgiveness. But I know you shared a story about how you go about, kind of getting the dinner you want, and I think that it does kind of highlight like a certain strategy, right? That you probably implement in code, is that dinner strategy translated into code, and maybe I'm right, but maybe you can highlight that a little
um
bit.
yeah, so yeah, certain times when I need to go out with friends, and if I want to have some Indian curry and they want to have some Chinese, I don't even ask them what you want to eat. I just tell them, which Indian restaurant you want to go to. Bypass the first thing. But in coding, what I do with the developers is pretty straightforward. I hope none of them are listening to this. But anyways,
Don't worry, we'll edit
if
it out.
if the due date is, for example, is going to take 3 weeks to get it done with 3 guys on board, first of all, I reduce 3 to 2 because that puts pressure on the two. Now that I got to complete this, number one rule, right? If it takes you 3 guys, no, I need it to be done in 2 and reduce the time by more than 75%. So I think because if it, that's the way we get started with due dates. I don't even look at the task. This is the first rule that I do. And after that, you look at the task and analyze certain components and try to break it down. Because if you know you've only got 25% of the time and only 66.67% of the resources that you require, then you will do your best to break it down as much as you can and complete it on time.
Awesome, love it. Thanks for sharing your dinner story.
All good.
I had some time to Chief and myself spent some time with Cryptonaut at Consensus, and he was running me through the process of how he thinks through the user experience and how he bases it on data, but he says data. Cryptonaut, do you want to maybe talk us through just a high level overview of that process that you take when you're looking at the user experience?
Cool.
Yeah, sure. And by the way, is it creek or crick? I haven't quite figured that one out either. Anyways, yeah. So when it comes to user experience, a lot of it does have to come down to the data or the data. I can't say that without an Australian accent. Sorry. But anyways, it all comes down to the data, right? And being able to know exactly the flow and the structure of everything. And this is why I made the comment of trying to keep up with Merkelrud, right? His brain is so far ahead of mine. It's awesome
I
because
don't think so.
I love the concept. Oh, I try to present stuff to you all the time, and like you're like, hey, it's actually this, and you rattle off this 24 long carat type of name for this particular technology, and I love it. You're a plethora of knowledge, that's for sure. But it's great because as I'm trying to work up with him, I'm learning a lot of things, and I'm finding a lot of different things as I'm understanding the whole ecosystem and the roadmap. It allows me to be able to start identifying areas of where we can place user data. And one of the things that we are kind of focused on is being able to put that data back into the use of the user's control, right? And so that's going to be a key component for us moving forward. But with that being said as well, as you're kind of dissecting and understanding the data, it helps you to understand user behaviors online and what they're looking for and all this kind of stuff. And I always have this saying, when it comes to speaking with people, you need to get them the right content to the right audience at the right time. And if anybody's ever used like Amazon or anything like that, if you've been thinking of something and then you go to Amazon and then miraculously it just shows right up on the home page, it's those kind of things that make a system smart, right? It makes a good user experience across the board. And so with that, we pepper in quite a few different actual layers of psychology that's actually used in the world of psychology, and to basically understand and to help you guys basically get what you're looking for. And so as we're breaking that down, we're breaking down the silos of the different points of the journey. And as we're breaking those points down, it becomes fluid, it becomes seamless. And that way we can actually make it so that every user almost has a different experience with the same end goal in mind, right? And that's really kind of at a high level without getting too granular in it. That's how we kind of work. And so the more you use L1X, the more customized, the more better
Tailored.
experience
It's
that you're
tailored,
going to
right?
have. Yeah, it's
It's
tailored
tailored for
to
that person. Like,
your needs, right?
that's
Rather
right.
than just being a boilerplate cookie cutter experience that everybody
MetaMask.
kind of gets. Yeah, you said it, I didn't.
Yeah.
But I think everybody knew where I was going with that. But anyways, yeah, exactly. You don't have to go down the same path as everybody, and
Yep.
that's what makes it unique, and that's what
Yeah.
makes everybody sticky to use L1X.
Awesome, man. My wife has an expression she learned from her dad. And it's get in, get what you need, and get out. And that's what, the world is fast, we're busy. That's what people want, right? They want a quick, seamless, safe experience that gets them what they want. They get in, they get what they need, and they get out. And I think that everybody can take a lesson from that, is that, when things are overly complicated, um, you know, that sucks. To be frank, we don't want to have to deal with, how do we change? How do we do this? How do, like, what bridge do we go to? And making that, as I've said before, that day, and this is for Jerry, because I know Jerry might be a mom because she responded to this last time. But when my mom calls me and says, "Hey, I used L1X to purchase you something," that'll be awesome, because she's both used L1X and purchased me something. And she has also, really kind of created that great user experience that you were talking about, Cryptonaut. It was so easy for my mom, who's 75, love you, mom, to get that, that item that she wanted, and it wasn't difficult. She didn't have to call me to tell me or ask me, how do I buy this? Like, this is so complicated. And that's what I'm really looking forward to, because then I'll know that, L1X, and, for me, has made, that real, that historical moment, because I think we can all, take something in that, like, I'm sure everybody's had that frustration with your mom, right? Like, oh, why don't you get email? Why don't you understand this? Why don't you understand that? But when your mom picks up that wallet, uses L1X to buy something for you, it shows up at your door. That's real history right there. And not to discount any of the other history we're talking about, but that's the thing that's really important to me.
And one day, be great. We'll actually have to meet this mythical mom of yours.
Yeah, man. Of course. Of course, guys. Tempo, I see you're back, and I know Tempo's a mom, 3 boys, I believe. So, Tempo, how's your audio right now?
Hopefully better.
Perfect.
Yeah, and yeah, my mum's a legend too. I think what we've all been talking about is how exciting this journey is for us all because, when CryptoNaut and when the L1X wallet launches, we will all actually be participating in it together. We'll all be downloading it for the first time. We'll all be going through that user experience, and we'll all be, having the same experience together. So that's really exciting. On the marketing and PR front this week, we've just been featured in Cointelegraph. We have been featured in the ABC of crypto, and it's been great what they've actually said about us. They've actually said that we've solved the interoperability problem with our ability to transfer logic. So this logic, this transfer of logic, this ability of Xtalk to actually allow different and incompatible layer one blockchains to truly collaborate and connect with each other is just such an exciting development in crypto as a whole. So that's what we're really focusing on, really trying to get people to understand. And it's fantastic when Cointelegraph can acknowledge that. We're also working with Coin Bureau in the next couple of days. They'll actually be doing a feature on us, and the feedback from the teams when they're getting to understand what we're up to has been just so fantastic. They're actually going, oh my goodness, this is such an amazing project. So yeah, getting that sort of a validation back from some of the real influencers in the space has been terrific. And we're just trying to communicate the bite-sized chunks of what we're capable of. And what will happen in the coming weeks is these bite-sized chunks of information will actually translate into bits of experience that we all go through together, like downloading that wallet for the first time. And there's real synergy with what we're communicating, and also in the weeks to come what we'll all be experiencing together. So if you haven't had a look at that Cointelegraph report, it really is. It's an overarching report on the state of crypto at the moment, and you can learn quite a lot about any sort of crypto category you're interested in, whether it be DeFi, NFTs, from a broader market perspective. But where we're featured in is that we are an upcoming layer one blockchain. And when you read what they think we're capable of, again, it's a bite-sized chunk of what we're capable of, but it's certainly different to what any other layer one is capable of. So that it'd be great if everyone can have a look, and we put a tweet out about it. Feel free to retweet. That'd be great. Get the word
Well
out.
done.
Help us out.
Yeah. Well done. And it's I think I don't know if people use Android, iPhone here, but I'm a both. I use both now, and so one thing I like about the Android experience is that I get all these cards, and so with all my different devices, I can be reading these articles, and so to see that come up was pretty amazing, and so really well done on that tempo. And it's so important to support obviously our socials, and for you too as a user, as an investor here, to kind of immerse yourself in that experience and not just bypass those articles. Don't just read the headlines, read the whole thing so that you can see what other people are saying, about L1X. It's different. Yeah. I mean, I think we're all biased here a little bit. But that's a good thing. That's because we're passionate. We love this project. We love the people here. We love the community, and we love the technology. And to bring those things together, is super important. And to see other people talking about that, really, really important. But do yourself a favor, and really get on the socials and promote, yourself as well, through this journey by learning about all these different things. So, let me see if I can get another couple questions in here. This is Mark from Crypto FX. Hi, L1X team. I have a question. Does the team also have in mind to funnel and carefully crafted future legit projects using the L1X chain? Maybe this could prevent scam and bleep coin projects with no use case like other chains do. Also, could this boost credibility and integrity of the L1X ecosystem? And I think this goes a little bit to what Merkle Root was talking about with the developers, and where I was kind of jokingly talked about the scorecard and everything, or the card. But Merkle Root, do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, I think there can't be light without darkness, So
Right.
and yeah, we we can't avoid darkness. That's the problem. And I feel everyone should be given an opportunity to build with L1X, and the market should be educated about, and they are getting educated about, what is right and what is wrong in Web3. So because as a protocol, as a decentralized protocol, it shouldn't be the case that I am sitting in my office and I am approving projects. That's not what this is built for. This is built for letting people build, but what we can do is make sure that we educate the market about where you can focus and where you should not.
Perfect. I'm gonna
Can I
speed
add to
through.
that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that there's a lot of things that users in the space want to see. Like a verified person. A lot of people look for audits when they go to projects and things like that, right? Those mean a lot to investors because at least it gives them a little bit of understanding as, hey, a third party has looked at this, right? And so to Merkle Root's point, there are things that we'll be able to do and to provide that confidence and trust in there. I like to call those guardrails that will definitely put it in a place to help steer and educate, as Merkle Root said. And those will definitely be some guardrails that my team and I are definitely working on trying to implement into the UI.
Yeah, I think just to add on that, the biggest problem is not the meme coins. I think the biggest problem today in Web3 is how there is a wrapper of centralization around decentralization, and how people are, exploiting that. I think that is also one of the biggest challenges to solve, and it is going to be a long process at times. But yeah, we will, do our best to educate the market about certain things, and we will build technology that doesn't provoke, centralization as it keeps
Yeah.
growing.
And it is important for everybody to DYOR, of course, right? Do your own
100%.
research. And MYOC, make your own choices. And super, super important to having a successful, fun crypto experience or journey. Let me speed through here to the very end from Emperor 983, talking really about gaming and bringing in gamers into the crypto space because it is a really natural transition or progression to bring those gamers in. What is L1X doing to position themselves to, bring in these developers, to bring in gamers so that we can create kind of this beautiful ground for an amazing gaming experience for not just crypto users but to bring just millions upon millions of people in. And I know, Spark, you are somebody that talks a lot about this, so I don't know if you're the one that wants to field this question, but anybody can go ahead and jump in and answer that.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing in when we're going around consensus and talking to games, say specifically, there's been a great demand for interoperability from games, and to provide that in the current state of blockchain, you can't do that to the extent of it being safe enough for you to allow your users to do it. So this is like one example of the impact it has on the market, and one example of what will bring developers plus the application system or the app store that Kevin talked about. That system in itself that incentivizes developers to build these applications that can be used on the system, I think is a great pipeline for those developers to come through as they're incentivized to do so.
Thanks, Mark. Maybe one last question here. So this is from Dambox, and these other questions we'll have to answer just via text, but this is from Dambox. is the team targeting a few flagship projects on other chains specifically to move across to help with adoption? If so, what is the timing? If this is being done, making it known can help create a wave of movement. So, what is the process to like engage a blue chip on another chain? And I'm sure you guys at Consensus had these conversations with people, and maybe just highlight a little bit of that, and maybe without spilling the beans, obviously. Like, how does that process like take place, and you know what needs to be done to bring something like that to completion?
Well, I'm never going to give away names, but what I can say is that the conversation just starts with reaching out to the benefit that we can deliver to
Mm.
that team, right? And it's not just other projects as in applications, there's also chains as well. And chains are highly incentivized. Well, if applications want to use interoperability, and we believe that the future is multi-chain where Xtalk
Mm. Yeah.
actually connects with public and private, and we believe that is the future. That will be what we will live in. But it's that technology that entices them to be able to want to build with us. And yeah, we find that there's a big demand for it.
Mark, what was that expression you used to tell me? People want to you want to care what people know. They want to know what you know. How does
The
that go?
saying goes, people want to know how much you care before they care how much you know. And if you look at why
Mhm.
should let's say a near protocol care about what Kevin and the team have developed here? Well, if you're a near application and you connect to the L1X network of chains, then now you have access to over 80% of the TVL across all chains without using a bridge, and it's cheaper, it's faster, it's safer. So why would you not want to connect to that network? From their perspective.
Mhm.
And then you start to look at other chains, and where it becomes a place where if you're not in the network, you're you're not in a good place. You know what I mean? So like connecting to the network is important, and that's why we stand for. This is an L1X blockchain revolution, right? As our value is that we are built to unite, right? So we unite the chains where the activity across that chain is caught on the block, but also from chain to chain, it's also mapped now. So that it really is a source of truth, a decentralized truth. So it's really exciting.
Well, we have reached the hour. We always want to be cognizant of never going really too much further over that. I want to thank everybody for being here. Safe travels to anybody, obviously, that's traveling. Hope everybody is going to have a good day or night wherever you're at. We will see you back here next week. And remember, if you have comments, suggestions, feedback, yeah, please post it in the channel. Where, as Big Turns mentioned, we are, absolutely happy to implement things that we think are beneficial for the community after we go through a discussion process on these things to make sure that they're a good fit for the channel and for everybody. But please make suggestions. We are happy to read them, and we will discuss all of those things. But wherever you're at in the world, good day, good night. We will see you back here for season 1, episode 8, pardon me, of Live X. So good night. We'll see everybody. Bye bye.